Hey, what's up everyone? Today we have a Champion 196cc generator. It's 4,000 peak watts, 35 running watts or continuous watts. And the owner says that it will run, but oil comes out of it. And I don't really know what that means. Does it come out of the air filter? Does it come out of the back seal? I really hope not the last one. So I think we're gonna turn it on, let it run, see if we can find anything that's really bad. Let's see what we get. Yep, on. Let's at least check to see if there is oil in it first. Probably should do that, huh? That might be safe. There we go. Oh yeah, it has a lot of oil and clean oil. So someone obviously knew this was a problem, just kept putting more in it. Okay. We have the fuel is on, choke is on, pull cord's on the other side. Making sure it's not like hydro lock. Don't feel like pulling my shoulder out today. So far nothing but money to load. We could grab something to load it up with. I have a 1500 watt heater turned or plugged in. It's turned off though. And then that should be a little under 50% of a load. I'm pretty sure at that point, if it's gonna be shooting out oil anywhere, we're gonna see it. It might have to run for a little bit, but I mean, I don't really see any oil anywhere so far. It does have a little oil cutoff, so that's good. Let's go. Let's try no choke. Nope. Actually, I probably should have turned it off beforehand, but whatever. I don't really see a whole lot. Not a whole lot of oil. So, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all the common areas cleaned up. I'm going to clean my table. And then I'm going to run for about another 10 minutes. Because it ran for about 10 minutes. I don't see anything. I'm going to run for about another 10 minutes under load. Excuse me. According to the voltmeter here, it is making about 120 volts, so it should be the output I'm not concerned over, and the fans or the heater's running. So, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. going to clean it up, let it run, and then I'm going to disconnect it, let it run for another 10 or 15 minutes. And while that's all happening, I'm going to let it sit overnight and see if I can find any droplets of oil. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to really see too much today. Next day, and yeah, there's definitely a decent amount of oil down there, and I only let it run for about 5 minutes. Here's the thing though, when it was running, I did find where it was leaking from too. I saw an active drip right about there, the corner of the block. So I tightened it, the 12mm wrench, to see perhaps if it was just loose. Also did a 1 or 2 above it, and cleaned everything up, started it up running. I didn't exactly see that much happening, so I'm like, oh, maybe that fixed it. And next thing you know, I come out here today and there's a pool. So no, that did not fix it. Luckily, however, this crankcase gasket, which we're gonna have to replace, is a very common one. This is pretty much what you get for like a Predator engine or anything like that. I just happen to have one made for a 196cc as a result of accidentally pushing 2 instead of 1, or maybe I pushed 3, I don't remember. I have an extra set from I got a couple weeks ago, so we're gonna utilize it. What do we have to do? Well, we're gonna have to put this away. In addition to that, we are gonna have to drain the oil. While that's draining, we're gonna take off the fuel tank, turn off the fuel first, disconnect it from the carburetor, and then we're unfortunately gonna have to remove the whole power head. Let's take a look and see if we need to remove the exhaust. I'm sure we're gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to. It's just gonna be a whole lot easier. There's a whole lot of bracketry and it's a pretty big system. So we're gonna have to remove these 4 bolts, to remove this little plate or heat shield. Then we're gonna remove it directly from the motor. So that should take care of a lot of it. And then what else? At that point in time, I think we're then going to have everything opened up. The tank will be off, the muffler, the shielding, all that will be gone. And we can have direct access to the power head. Now, I'm not going to show the power head removal because I'm going to make a standalone video for that. Shameless plug, I know, but if you want to see how that's done, then watch the next video. So I think the next time you see this engine, everything's going to be removed. I don't think you need to see me just take off a couple bolts and put stuff off to the side. That's boring. So we just need to get a lot of room. So I'm gonna get started. So next time you see this, we'll be ready to get this repair underway. And by the power of video, we have everything disassembled. The exhaust is off, the tank is off, everything is ready to go. So we're gonna take off this cover. That red oil is Marvel. Watch the video, like I said, how to remove, especially this. Remove the whole generator head and assembly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this cleaned up. Looks like we have a couple 12mm. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I do believe we'll be able to take off that cover and then we will be ready to go again. My apologies on the lack of the perfect angle here, but let's at least see if we can do this. But I literally just picked it up and it came right off. So yeah, that's good. I'm surprised this wasn't leaking earlier. I'll show you why. But I'm going to do a quick little double check on my end to make sure I have the right gasket. Just gonna look around, double check to make sure everything is still hunky-dory, and then we'll be right back. I did not do that. You can tell by the pressure mark right here, this gasket has been off for a long time. It wasn't even installed right. I don't know how many hours this has on there, but it's amazing this thing wasn't leaking from the day it came off the factory floor. So that's interesting. Other than that, really nothing of note to mention. I'm going to spend a little time getting clean. Oh, maybe I don't have to. At least not on this. Yeah, a little bit. But I'll go ahead and get that surface clean of oil and debris, old gasket, all that. Same thing with this one. Clean it up, make sure it's good to go. Try not to get anything in the actual engine itself, and then we will install the new one and we'll be well about our way. My apologies for the bar in a way, but yeah, I put the new gasket on. I sprayed it with high tack. Now that's probably not 100% needed, but I like using it, especially since we already had a problem with leaking. Now, if your crank seal, which is down there, was damaged or dirty or looking bad, it would behoove you to change it. But this is still pliable. I had absolutely no issue taking this off. In fact, I can't want to come off. I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'm going to put this back on. And there it goes. Now that it's back on, I'm going to put all the bolts back, get this cinched down. I'm going to clean up all the oil and generator parts. Yet again, watch the video on how to remove it and just imagine the exact opposite. But other than that, this is going to be a replacement of the gasket that's going to hopefully cure our leak. Considering that the gasket wasn't even installed right the first time, it's pretty safe in my opinion. Just know that we probably have fixed it, but we're going to double check it. And it's going to take a day because we want to do the same thing we did before. We want to give it time. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put it all back together. Same thing as it was before. Just going to take like 10-15 minutes, and then I'll bring you back and we'll go ahead and give this a pull, and hopefully we have a good running generator. I'm not going to leave you hanging. So a couple things I want to go over. I used oil kind of hydraulically to remove it's skipping me right now. Anyway, there was oil in the threading of the crank. Remove that if you use the oil method. You don't want to have hydraulic pressure there. It's just going to spew out oil. In addition, I cleaned out everything very thoroughly. I don't want to have rotor, there's the word. I don't want to have it splash everywhere, cause a mess, and potentially damage, very delicate electrical parts. We're almost to the point where I'm going to be putting in the center bolt. Something I did want to mention to kind of help it get in there straight. I put a little Teflon on it. That way it doesn't, I don't want to say go on an angle, but it just kind of keeps it centered. I don't know how much that really matters, but why not be a little more thorough, So I'm going to get it all taken care of. Before I put the cover on, however, I'm going to put the feet back on, reconnect everything, and tip it back on its side so it's supporting itself. And then I'm going to pull on the cord very slowly. I want to see if there's any grinding or scraping. If there is, I put it on wrong, you put it on wrong, we both did. It's time to take it off, put it back on. You should not hear any grinding or scraping at all. I'll show you when we get to that point. Okay, moment of truth. Like I said, very, very slowly. I don't hear anything. I think it's pretty good to go. So I'm going to finish the connections and then we will listen to it run again. What you just witnessed there was the end of about a 20-minute run about 2 or 3 days later. And at this point, well, last time there was an active drip. It would have been actively dripping for at least a couple minutes by now. And there's nothing. It's not wet. There is oil right there, but that I just think clean because it's not underneath the generator. Everything underneath the generator and on pretty much everywhere. I mean, I don't see any oil on the motor itself because I gave it a good cleaning before I let it sit for a moment or two. It's been sitting for a couple days and it seems to be doing fine. So that should be about it. A couple things I want to go over is some other possibilities. There could be a bad crank seal. You could be needing to replace that. It's the exact same process. The only thing is that's different is that you probably will be replacing the gasket anyway because you're going to want to, you technically don't have to remove the crank or take the cover off, but it just makes it a lot easier to remove the cover. So you're going to have to replace the seal, remove the cover. I mean, that's really the two main options where it was leaking on this engine, and that is the end of the engine around the crankshaft output. So that's about it. So other than that, I'm gonna let you go. Have a good night. If you like what you see, keep watching, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Have a good day.